Welcome to Horseshoe Politics. Today is September 22nd, 2020, and I talked about in yesterday's video how I would do an election prediction 6 weeks ahead of time in today's video because exactly 6 weeks from today is election day. Today is Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. Exactly 6 weeks from now, or 42 days from now, is November 3rd, 2020, which is election day. So I thought that it would be a good idea to do a prediction video for how I think the presidential election is going to end up 6 weeks from the election, which is today, and then 2 weeks from now, the 4 week mark, and then the 2 week mark, and then the day before election day. For now, I'm just doing a presidential election prediction, but maybe in 2 weeks from now, I can also do a senatorial election prediction. So I'm gonna first talk about why I think Biden has a much better chance of winning this election, and then I will go into my actual prediction for the election down to the state in the electoral college. And then I might even bring up some of the 538.com statistics. I have that pulled up in another tab. If I need to, I'll go to that tab if I need to back up my claims with some evidence. Because 538 actually puts in a lot of effort. They use all sorts of different mathematical statistical formulas to come up with their projections for the 2020 presidential election. So I would expect their predictions to be pretty spot on, more or less. But let's get into the video now. Let's start in by filling in all the safe Republican states. Now, on 538.com, these states would show Trump having over an 80% chance of winning these states. But I would say, realistically, the chance is even higher. I'd say all the states I'm about to fill in right now for Trump, he has at least a 95% chance of winning them, if not higher. That includes Montana, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, all of Nebraska except 2nd District, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, and Alaska, which brings Trump to 125. Now we go to Biden. Similarly, for Biden, on 538.com, the states I'm about to fill in would show him having an 80+% chance of winning these states, but realistically, it's above 95% chance that Biden wins all the states I'm about to fill in, which include DC, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, California, Oregon, Washington, and then New York, and then Illinois. So that brings Biden to 178. If you add Hawaii, that's 182. So already Biden's ahead by almost 60 electoral votes. Biden gets all these big states for free, which is why Biden's so much ahead of Trump, just when you shade in the safe states. Now we're going to go to the states that are likely to go for Trump. Now, on 538.com, these states would go at least 70% in Trump's favor, 65 to 80% in Trump's favor for the election. So, like, Texas, I'm going to put likely, not Oklahoma. Texas, I'll put likely if you go to 538.com. If you go to Texas, I accidentally went to New Hampshire. Let me go to Texas. If you go to Texas, Trump has a 68% chance of winning. That's between 65 and 80. So I would say Texas is a likely win for Trump. Iowa's around there. Iowa's likely. Ohio, I'm really on the edge between lean and likely. Just because Ohio has been showing more promising results for Biden in the recent weeks, I would say Ohio's lean now. If you go to 538.com for Ohio, click on that. Trump's at 55% chance of winning, so I'd say that goes for lean. And then Iowa, I'm going to keep at likely because Iowa, Trump still has quite a bit better of a chance of winning. Same with Georgia. Georgia's still going to go for likely. All these states, Trump has like a 70%-ish chance of winning. Texas, I'd say it's really more like 85% chance of winning for Trump. There's a slight chance Biden pulls off a win in Texas, but he should not at all be counting on it. Texas is not ready to go Democratic yet. Let's do the same, but for Democrats. Virginia is probably above 80% to be honest on 538.com, but I'm still not fully on board with putting it as a safe state yet. Same with Colorado and New Mexico. All these I would put as likely. So Virginia, Colorado, New Mexico, I'd say all go as likely. And then Nevada, I'm not sure whether to put that as likely or lean. So if you look at 538.com here, if you go down to Nevada, Biden has an 81% chance, so that's basically a safe, but I'm still going to put it as a likely state because there's still a slight chance Trump wins. Trump was only 3 points off in 2016, so he might have a tiny chance of winning, but overall, I still think it's more likely for Biden. Now we're at all the relative swing states. Oh yeah, I forgot Maine. Maine, I'd say, is in the likely category. Trump has a very low chance of winning the state. Probably less than 20% chance of Trump winning Maine. Even though he came kind of close in 2016, he doesn't have a good chance in 2020. Now we have all the swing states of this election. I'd say Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, Rust Belt, New Hampshire, Maine's 2nd District, Nebraska, 2nd District. So this is where 538 comes in a lot more handy because with these states that are pretty close, 538 will be able to tell us whether Trump or Biden have a better chance of winning. So I'm not going to go on the website right now, but uh, Biden has a better chance than Trump of winning all these states so far. So all these states, Biden has between a 50 and 60% chance of winning. So that would mean it's lean Biden, lean Democrat. But even if I don't shade the Rust Belt in, Biden is already at 218 and Trump's only at 203. In 2016, Trump won all these states except Minnesota and New Hampshire. But I'm almost sure that Biden's going to do better than that in 2020 because Biden's just overall doing better than Clinton did in the 2016 presidential election. But why I think Trump has a low chance of winning this election is because Trump has to win almost all of these states to win the election. He needs Florida, he needs Arizona, North Carolina. Even then, he still needs at least one of these Rust Belt states, which could happen, but that's also meaning he has to win all of these. Arizona's not even likely for, it's not that likely for Trump anymore. It's more likely for Biden. Biden has like a 63-ish% chance of winning last time I checked for Arizona. Florida I actually forgot the exact number. I think that's a good state to look at right now. I think it's slightly in Biden's favor. Yeah, it's at 60%. Biden has a better chance of winning Florida. Biden has a better chance of winning Arizona. Biden has a better chance of winning the Rust Belt overall, according to 538.com. Even North Carolina, which shouldn't be a hard win for Trump. Even if you look at North Carolina, which Mitt Romney won in 2012, when he lost to Obama by quite a bit, Biden has a better chance of winning. But although it's close, Biden doesn't have a much better chance. It's 54 to 46. That's still a better chance in a state that should be an easy win for Trump, relatively speaking. This is why I think Trump does not have a good chance of winning this election. His re-election chances are not looking good for now, as of now. He has to win almost all these states. He has to win Arizona, Florida, and North Carolina, and then break through the Rust Belt again, like in 2016. If he doesn't win Arizona, then he has to win North Carolina. He has to win Wisconsin, and then Pennsylvania, and then Florida. That's what he needs to win if he gives up Arizona. So, but if you look at Biden, if he just gets Minnesota, Michigan, these two states are pretty likely to vote for Biden as of now. Even Pennsylvania has a better chance of voting for Biden. Now there's 3 states left that are swing states, but Biden only needs to win one of them to win the election, which is why I think Biden overall has a much better chance of winning. The 538 stats are pretty accurate. A lot of people said the polls in 2016 weren't accurate, but 538.com is pretty good at setting up these simulations. They were pretty spot on in 2016. They gave Trump a 30% chance of winning. He was able to win. 30% was not that low. They didn't really underestimate Trump, I'd say, so they were pretty spot on with their prediction. Let's get to what my actual prediction for the 2020 election is now. So I'm just going to put everything back to solid colors. I think Trump's going to win Texas, Iowa, and Ohio. I don't think Biden has a good chance of winning those at all. Virginia, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, Trump's going to win all of them. Not Trump, Biden. Biden's going to win all of them. As with New Hampshire, Biden's going to win. Now here's the hard part. Arizona, I think Biden's going to win. Minnesota, Biden's going to win. Same with Michigan. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, I'm on the edge, but I think they'll both go for Biden, which brings Biden to 289, but Trump's only at 218. Trump's going to win this district and that district, which would bring him to 220. But then in Florida, which I'm right on the edge of, because Trump is from Florida and I feel like he's been campaigning there a bit more in this election season, I'm going slightly Florida for Trump, but I may as well be very wrong on this. Florida could easily go to Biden, but for now I'm just putting Florida Trump. Even though 538.com has Biden up in Florida by quite a bit, I still feel like Trump can pull through, and he might as well pull through. Because Florida, even when Democrats look like they have a better chance of winning, you have a Republican governor, you have both Republican senators there. So even with this 60-40 odds in favor of Biden, I still think Florida will just narrowly edge out in favor of Trump over Biden. Just like in 2000, narrowly edged out in favor of Bush over Gore, even though I don't know for sure, I think Gore was ahead of Bush in Florida. I don't know for sure. I have not looked at 2000 polls, so this is what I think my final election map is. Prediction for my final election map is 6 weeks ahead of the election. I'll do another election prediction 2 weeks from now, but I think the final election map, after everything's counted up, will look like this. But this is 6 weeks in advance, so a lot can change from today. So this is definitely subject to change. That's why I'm doing another updated prediction 2 weeks from now. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my insight on this issue. I hope you enjoyed my insight on the election and how I was able to use the 538 stats to factor into my predictions. And I hope that this election prediction map, even though it's 6 weeks ahead of time, I hope it's still relatively spot on by the time election day actually comes around. And then after the mail-in ballots are all counted, I hope the election map resembles something like this. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you tune into tomorrow's video. See you then.